We live? I think we're live.
We're live.
All right, everybody. Well, hello and welcome to the Pixel Scandal Nerdcast, episode 20. My name is Kurt. And would everybody else love to introduce themselves?
Yeah, because that'd be awesome.
I am Nightson.
You guys are the worst. How you doing? How you doing, Handor?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good, Handor? Okay.
I'm
Gigett, how are you feeling
Gigett.
today?
I'm great. How are you, end of line?
I'm good.
I am spectacular. I'm drinking a Sidecar. I don't know if you guys have tried this, but it is an orange IPA. It is the basic bitch beer. It's the guy version of pumpkin spice.
Awesome.
I'm surprised there's anything left of that. It seemed like everyone was drinking that last night.
Yeah.
I had a peanut butter stout last night that was super
Talk to
delicious.
me.
Oh man,
Talk to
I want
talk
more
to
of
me,
that in my
Gigett.
life.
It was
Yeah.
super good. It was really good.
Those are my favorite.
Hey, Kurt, why don't you tell people where they can find us?
Oh, thanks, Gidget. I will.
Oh my god.
Hey.
Kill me.
You there,
Yeah.
looking at me. You want to talk to us? You can do that. You can email us, pixelscandal@gmail.com. That's an email address where you can send us stuff and we'll read it. And then, hey, if you ask us questions, we might even read them on the show.
What?
Also, if you're interested in like when we're going to stream or want to see back episodes, stuff like that, you can go to pixelscandal.com and you can find all sorts of information about the show. And if you're watching this on Twitch, twitch.tv/pixelscandal or YouTube, we don't have a custom URL there, so you found us somehow. There's a bunch of buttons around us on YouTube and Twitch. You can click those, and then it'll tell you when we go live, like you've never been on the internet before. Also, we now have an audio feed, and we are in Apple Podcasts and Spotify and the Google Play and damn it, I don't know, everywhere else. If you have a podcatcher and you can't find us, you email pixelscandal@gmail.com and I will personally see that we get it on there.
Did you say podcatcher?
Yes, that's what they're called.
I've never heard that term before.
Me
Who has
neither.
not heard that term?
I literally thought you had coined that term right this very second.
Me too. I was like,
you know what?
Like a Pokemon?
I did.
Oh gosh. 100 more points to his being
That's awesome. So before we get into our announcements and everything else that we're going to talk about, our spotlight topic towards later on in the show is going to be talking about post-apocalyptic video games, such as Fallout and the like. So that's what we'll be talking about a little bit later on in the show. But for now, end of line, do we have any announcements?
smug. That was the word, smug.
Real Nate Bob in the chat says that podcatcher is a standard term. So suck it.
Nerds.
Stop encouraging him. It'll only get worse from here on out.
Right.
Thanks, Real Nate Bob.
Yeah, definitely.
We appreciate you.
The next actual play we have is going to be October 13th. Gidget is going to be doing a one-shot live on the stream. She is keeping it to herself, what she's running, so I think it's going to be a surprise to all of us. But I'm hoping there is blood and gore. But probably not. Also, we have our next.
I have 3 different things that I'm toying around with. I just have to pick one and focus.
The one with the most entrails.
Focus.
Our next Dungeon World game is going to be November 10th. That'll be at 9 a.m. on the stream. So we're taking a small little break with Dungeon World because we've got a lot of other stuff going on. Our
really,
GM
the biggest
is going to
reason
be gone.
Yeah. That's the biggest reason why we're having to take a break.
Cheating on us with other nerds.
I will be a big bad con.
Yes.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
So yeah, tune into that to find out how Forrest deals with his emotions.
Yeah.
if you like shows like the what are they called? I did it again.
If
You like shows that are on TV.
If you like shows that are things,
do you
with
like
people-
to watch things?
What
or
are those
perhaps even
draws?
on the internet.
The hourglass turns, all that. Those shows. If you like shows like that, tune in.
Are you trying to say that we're like a soap opera?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, dear
Well,
Lord.
you know.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, just Forrest dealing with his emotions. That's gonna be like a soap opera.
Okay.
Well, cool. So let's move on to what are we
Quickly.
excited about?
What are we excited about? I'm excited about something.
I can see that. It's the Forest Ham and Picnic.
It's not ham. It is the Forest Hymn and Picnic.
Oh, it's
Like
not
a-
ham being
Ooh.
served at a picnic?
No, like a hymn, like a song that you may sing in a church or some other place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that, the hymns, but I'm also interested in ham at
But
picnics.
I'm
so
mostly interested in the
it's-
picnic. No, the forest. Okay, so I have to talk about the Forest Hymn and
Yeah.
Picnic. So I hang out. I spend a lot of time in Discord. I have way too many Discords in my. As anyone who has seen me share my screen would know,
Yep.
I'm in far too many Discords, and I hang out in one called RPG Talk, and it is a great place to sort of chill and talk to other designers, game designers. And Cecil Howe has been working on his newest game, which is sort of based on The Wind in the Willows and oh man, that's the one Mr. Toad is in, right? The Wind in the Willows and
Yeah.
Over the Garden Wall. It's very much like sort of cutesy, but also a little serious forest stuff. So you're either a human, an animal folk, so you can be like a pig person or a I don't know, any other animal folk. Let your mind go where you want.
Is
or-
Pigfolk, did you go there first because we were talking about ham?
No, I didn't. Because I don't know why pig folk is stuck. Like I keep thinking about that. One of the pieces of art that he has is a pig man with a shovel. Or you could be a ghost, and the ghosts are my favorite thing about this setting because they're not like normal ghosts. They are like these mist forms that sort of embody, like they take up a scarecrow type of body. And so like you'll have like a head that is a pumpkin or a sack or something like that. And you'll be filled with some sort of contents to like keep your sack body up and moving around.
Cotton candy.
And it could be things like whiskey or bees or, and it's all random because it's based on Shadow of the Demon Lord's system, not the poop gun version, not the setting part of Shadow of the
Did
Demon
you
Lord.
say poop gun?
Okay,
That's
so Shadow of the
literally what
Demon Lord is a game that has a lot of poop in it.
You have said some very weird words tonight, and we've only been on air for 7 minutes.
I know. Aren't
Yeah.
you all excited? So anyways, the Kickstarter is currently live and is like going gangbusters. So go over to Kickstarter, search for the Forest Hem and Picnic. I'll put it in chat or something right now after I finish talking. But go check it out and back it because it's
H-A-M.
awesome.
It's delicious.
Why
It's not ham, it's hem. I'm gonna put it in chat.
Forest Ham and Picnic.
Hem.
Forest
sorry.
Ham Picnic
Forest
sounds
Ham.
better.
All right, what is everybody else excited about? Oh,
Cool.
Big Bad Con.
I mean, it
Cool.
looks it looks like you're the only one excited about things because you're
What?
excited about
What?
Big Bad
Let me look at the
Con
list. Oh, Big Bad Con. Oh my
And-
God, it is all me.
and Gauntlet Con.
All right, well, you know what?
God
You
yeah.
talk about Kristen Bell, and I'll come back to the other stuff.
Oh, I'll talk about Kristen Bell because
All right, don't get weird on us.
That
Yeah.
ship has sailed. Line has been crossed.
yeah,
Married,
this
man.
is. Hey, man, 50% of marriages end up.
Do you guys know that girl from that place? On
Yeah,
that
I met
thing?
her.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
So yeah, cool guys, thanks. I appreciate it. You guys are the best cast ever. So Kristen Bell
I'm very
recently
excited about
announced.
this as well. I'm very
Oh.
excited about this.
Oh, are you?
I am.
Well, if you're so excited, you'll let me finish explaining to you why I'm so excited about this.
I'm less excited, so I will continue to interrupt.
Okay. fair
Aristos
enough.
is also excited about
All right,
this.
tell us about Kristen Bell. I need to know what's happening.
Okay, so Kristen Bell, years ago now, had a series, and some of you may know of this. It was called Veronica Mars. It was amazing. The cast was amazing. The show was incredible. It had everything it needed. And most of the fan base, its hardcore fan base, was really devastated by the fact that they didn't renew, its last season. So Thursday, she announced, I saw it on Instagram, she announced a re-up for a new season that will be released on Hulu. So that is super fucking exciting.
and it's going to pick up where their little like mini movie thing they made left
that
off.
was supposed to give closure to all the hardcore
Right.
fans. So it's like okay.
Yeah.
So just toying with their emotions at this point. So I am absolutely excited about that. Also, in other news, I did not mention this in the notes that we made. I
Then you
did
can't
actually.
Sorry.
I'm getting it in there.
Get it in there, man. Get it in there.
Get it in there. Hell yeah. So I received, I mentioned a few podcasts ago or Nerdcasts ago that I ordered through Kickstarter, or I backed through Kickstarter the buttress pillow.
Is it your butt pillow?
And I got it.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you have it?
Are you going
Can you
show it to us?
I do. I can attempt to.
Are you
Yeah.
sitting on it?
Well,
No.
I'll talk about Big Bad Con. You go get it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
We all want to see your ass.
We have to see this.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Big Bad Con. So, Big Bad Con approaches hastily. It starts on the 11th of October, which is in 2 weeks, maybe. I'm super excited about it. I think tomorrow is when the next set of the final set of game signups starts. But I got into a game of Inheritance, which is the first LARP I'm ever gonna try. You play
Fireball,
9 Vikings.
Fireball.
Yeah,
Fireball.
yeah. No, not like that. It's not like that. You play 9 Vikings who the Jarl has died, and you all have to decide who's gonna inherit the throne, I guess.
Fireballs would help.
Well, no one has those. And it's not like buff or
I'm
anything.
pretty
It's all
sure
like
we could
yeah,
find
it's all just arguing. So I'm really excited to try that out and see if what this whole LARP thing is all about.
I
Because I thought I couldn't get more nerdy, and I was wrong. So.
I feel like you know someone who could equip you with real fireballs.
Could you though? Like fireballs I could take with me and not get kicked out of places?
Oh, I didn't say that. I
Oh,
mean, I
okay.
think even if you were a wizard and casted fireball, you would get kicked out of places.
Oh yeah. I also get to try out Merkerger by Tomes. He's gonna run Merkerger there. He's also gonna run 16 Candles, which we talked about in a previous episode, which is a hack of 10 candles where you play a John Hughes movie. And what's the other thing I'm gonna do? It's not important. It's gonna be awesome. I'm super looking forward to it. Oh, I get to play a game with Jib. I get to play a Fate superhero, modern fantasy something. I don't know. I get to play a game with Jib, so that'll be cool to see him there too. It's super exciting, and I get to hang out with Dave Kazay like all freaking weekend. So there will be antics. I'm excited.
Awesome. So, what in the world is Gauntlet Con, Kurt?
What in the world is? No, it doesn't fit. The syllables are wrong.
even
Gauntlet
a little
Con is
He's
an
like
online.
really excitable tonight.
I'm super excited.
We're gonna start limiting you to one of these.
He's only had one of these.
No, I mean 1 point on the what are you excited about?
I know you've got
one.
4 points.
I get very excited. So the other thing I was going to talk about is Gauntlet Con. Gauntlet is an online community of RPG games. They hold an online convention once a year. Signups either are open to the public or will be open to the public very soon. There is space in my games. So if you're interested in playing a game with me, I'm going to be running 2 of the same game. So one on Friday night at 7 p.m. and one on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on the
next Friday,
the 18th of October. It's after Big Bad Con.
Oh, okay.
I will post some stuff about it on our Twitter. So go at Pixel Scandal. I'll post some notices and links to. So if you want to play RPG games with me, you can do that because there's space.
All right, Handor's back. Let's see your ass.
Let's see this pillow.
It's a lot bigger than I expected.
Aren't they never?
I feel like that's how that. It doesn't exactly look like a butt. Oh, I guess it does. Like those are the legs. Oh,
Yeah.
See, when you hold it like that, it looks like a butt. Okay. And what is the purpose of your butt pillow?
I don't think we should allow him to continue with that answer.
I cuddle with it. I cuddle with it and I sleep on it. It's pretty great.
That is a butt pillow. That is a pillow shaped like an ass.
Okay.
That's awesome.
It's the buttress pillow.
The buttress.
I'm gonna agree with you, Uranus.
So who, I don't know who put this, but someone isn't super excited about Telltale games?
Yeah, so unfortunately, and I figured
not excited.
Yeah, this is less exciting news. but Telltale has downsized dramatically. They have let go a majority of their staff.
They're
Almost
gone.
everything.
They're
No,
gone.
they still, as of yesterday, they still had a skeleton crew.
Yeah, they're just.
I think they're keeping
just
on like
finished.
25 people, and it's all people that deal with their board and stuff like that.
It's just enough people for them to finish. They
The
have some
Walking
stuff for
Dead
their
season
board.
4.
Yeah, that's it. They've canceled the
Yeah.
Stranger Things game, and also season 2
Dang.
of Wolf.
Of Wolf, yeah.
Aww.
Apparently, this is all because of just horrible financial and mismanagement of the company.
Well, ignoring anything
That's
else,
sad.
things have come out that they had something like 30 projects ongoing at one time,
Yeah.
which is absolutely insane. Like,
That's a
even though they
lot.
had something like 400 staff, like there was already notes of them being overworked, way too many hours, way too much going on, and that's a lot of plates in the air.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
It's a lot to
Was it-
manage.
Here's the honest truth, though. With them out of the picture, someone else will absolutely pick up that torch.
Yes.
Now that space is going to be open, there are probably people jumping over each other to get to that space.
I would not be
Hopefully.
surprised that within the next 5-6 months we hear a purchase of their IP, the Telltale engine and the everything that goes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
suspect.
I read a post by a game designer that I follow, and he was talking about the risks and the problems with buying those huge IPs and getting those huge licensing deals, that you have to put out such numbers, like you have to put out so many games that it's no longer possible to make something that's interesting. It's just not economically feasible because you're losing so much of the cut to the licensee.
Someone
I don't
is
think-
absolutely going to buy the Stranger Things one, though.
Oh, no
Oh
question.
yeah.
Is Telltale the one? Are they the company or the
The choose your own
makers-
adventure games, basically. The
Walking
little
Dead,
you
the
walk forward a little
Minecraft,
bit, and then it's
the-
a choice, this or that.
Batman,
Clementine will remember this.
Mhm.
Back to the Future, Sam and
I'm
Max.
thinking of the one where they would do they did a few games based on, for instance, you were Batman, but it was a very strange.
Well, they did do a Batman game.
Yeah.
There was quite a few of them. They even did like a.
Well, Kurt,
Fairy
what was the
Tale.
one that you played?
The Wolf
I
Among Us is
played-
probably what you think.
What is it?
Wolf Among Us.
Yes, the A Wolf Among Us.
With all
yes.
the fairy tale characters.
Yes, that was Telltale, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was a
You
very
were
good
going to say, Kurt?
I played the what's the name of that amazing game with the robot that is sassy?
Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yes, I played the Borderlands Telltale game.
Oh.
Well, I know you did the you guys played the Back to the Future one too. I remember that.
I think Gidge did. I didn't. I don't think
Did
I
I?
played the Back to the Future
Yeah,
one.
you guys owned it.
Or did you just do the Walking Dead
I
one?
thought I just did the Walking Dead one.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I know I played the Borderlands, which was really fun.
Yeah, they were good games. They were good assets. It's a shame they didn't have a good accountant and project managers and
Yeah. Basically, the ability to say enough's enough. Let's get this off our plate, and then we'll take on more.
Yeah.
Right.
But it happens.
Yep. Well, moving right along. What has everybody been playing lately?
I've been playing a little bit of a little more of Boundless. I know I talked about that last week. Discovering it's pretty in depth, and once you get to a certain point, it really slows down. You got to do a lot of farming and leveling and preparation before you're capable of traveling to this level 10 inhospitable planet and so on and so forth. So it's slowed down quite a bit. So we've been taking breaks. We'll all log on, do as much as we can, and then take a break.
Cool.
Yep.
What about the rest of you?
Been streaming a lot of Dead by Daylight today. If anyone's been on the stream, been playing a lot. It's Double Blood Point Weekend, which is kind of an event that they do a couple times a year to skill up your survivors and skill up your killers. So Nightson and Handor and a few of our buddies have been out there trying to survive. We've been doing pretty good. It's been a good day for us. I think we've had a lot more good games than we've had bad games.
The weird part was last last time they did the double weekend, we had a really large proportion of killers who were very content to just,
Trade.
make it aware, trade points. I will knock you down and hook you X amount of times. You guys build your generators, you get out, everyone wins, we all get a crap ton of points. We've seen one.
Yeah.
This whole 48 hours.
Yeah, these killers just want to kill us. Go figure.
Imagine that.
What's up?
Weird, right?
Where you're
What's
supposed
up with
to
these
kill
killer-
people.
What's up with these killers in these killer games?
Like, yo, Mike Myers, let's be friends.
Why are you stabbing, yo?
It's definitely been fun watching you guys play that. I know we streamed it with you guys earlier in the week. But yeah, it's a super fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like watching you guys play that.
I know Nightson and the kid played Shadowrun Chronicles Boston Lockdown last Sunday.
So
It was really fun.
you guys have played that a couple times, and I've just kind of not been interested in it.
Mhm.
I concede it looks really fun. It actually looks really, really good.
Well,
It's a really
The dialogue
fun
is
game.
kind of all over the place, but the game
Yeah.
itself, it looks fun mechanically.
Yeah.
the thing is, and I don't know why there isn't. Oh dear God, yeah.
Yeah, the
But
dialogue is pretty
The thing
trash.
that's weird about it is it's the only one of its type. I can't find another game of that XCOM-y
Mm-hmm.
kind of game that is
Mhm.
co-op. I would love
Are
to
there-
play games like.
I mean, I have to ask: are there XCOM 2 add-ons games like that? Because people are developing entire games on the XCOM 2 platform, aren't they? Like kind of like the StarCraft thing. Is that a thing? I thought
I've
it was.
never heard of that before.
Oh, okay.
either.
I thought like XCOM 2 was like highly moddable and people were creating like entire games
Maybe.
on it and stuff.
I kind of I bought XCOM 2 the day it was released because I've been a huge fan of that series for a million years.
Mm-hmm.
And I burned through the entire game in, I don't know, less than a week.
I love those style of games. I don't get to play XCOM very often because it's just like I never have a lot of time to sit down and play a game alone. Like I'm usually playing with you guys if I'm at my computer.
Yeah.
But the big benefit for me with Boston Lockdown is the multiplayer. Like you can do 4-player games.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, it's really fun. I think we're gonna play it again tomorrow, unless we become a Dead by Daylight stream.
I think
Out
we're
of
quickly.
necessity.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. We'll put out an announcement whether we're gonna be playing Dead by
Maybe a
Daylight
little of both.
or more Shadowrun.
Maybe a little of both.
And
Yeah.
there's always another slot. You're welcome to join us, Endo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get in there and
I
play
actually
some Shadowrun. with us.
dropped some money in Steam today. Already. There's a big weird sale going on like randomly. I don't know. if
Really?
it's- I maybe it's a fluke, but I just started scouring through there and I found like 4 or 5 like really cheapish $11 games that I thought looked really cool. I almost snagged Contagion, but you were like, no, I got 4 copies of it already. I'm like, why do you have 4 copies of games all the time? You just
I
have
know, you
extra
always have, like,
copies of everything.
Well,
yeah,
that
you
one
always
was-
have, like, extra.
That one was a legitimate purchase. You know,
Yeah.
because I figured that was a game that we could actually get in and play.
It looks
But
fun. I mean, it's ugly as hell,
Oh God, yeah.
but it looks super fun. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our spotlight topic for
Oh,
today.
actually, before we move into that, I wanted to say something. This is something that I'm excited about, and I think we're all a little excited about, is that we made affiliate.
Oh,
So this is our
Oh, yeah,
first,
yeah.
this is our first podcast since
Yay.
we made affiliate on Twitch.
That was like 2 whole days ago.
I
Like,
know,
yeah.
right? Time like flies. But yeah, so we are now affiliate on Twitch. So if you are the type of person that likes to support creators on Twitch, you can do that by subscribing to our stream or sending us bits, or I don't know. Honestly, I still need to look into all the monetization stuff, and I don't want to like bore people with it. But if that's something you're super into, that's a way you can support the show. And I'm super excited because we really pushed to hit the qualifications and stuff.
And even if you are a cheap ass like me and don't believe in that, most people have an Amazon Prime account and you get a
That's
free
true.
Twitch sub a month.
Oh yeah,
So feel free to throw it our way or anyone else that you want to support.
Yeah, if you're not using it, throw it to a Twitch streamer that you think deserves it.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
All right, so I'm sorry I interrupted the spotlight topic to talk about
Good call.
It's fine.
affiliate stuff,
It's
but
fine. It was important. I'm glad you said
Yeah,
Gidget,
we're all
hit us
very
with that.
we're all very excited about that. For
Need
sure.
them
Yeah.
booze funds.
we
Yeah.
are. Yeah, woo.
You know what? I'd be happy if we broke even and supported our hosting costs.
No,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Website,
excited about?
podcast. Yep.
Our emoji that's gonna be.
Oh,
I just added it. I don't know how long it takes for those things to appear in chat stuff.
Oh, they have to be
if you
approved.
subscribe,
So
it should appear.
Oh, they have to be
it does.
approved.
Yeah, it does go through a formal approval process, and I'm
okay.
guessing they don't have people during the weekend, so it'll
Oh,
probably.
okay. So I added it now, so maybe next week it'll be.
I'm
up.
Yes.
so excited.
So for any of those who have already subbed up, we should have that emoji soon.
Yep.
Quotation.
Yay!
We'll have our own emoticon.
it's gonna
I'm
be
very
amazing,
excited.
actually.
That is pretty awesome. Yeah.
I'm so excited. That's the thing I'm most excited about. Cause it's adorable. Anyway, so spotlight topic: post-apocalyptic video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who wants to kind of take?
So
Take a go
I'll
on
guess
this.
I'll take point on it.
Sweet.
It's kind of on the cusp of the Fallout 76 and some of the more news that's coming out. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, the logical thing would we would wait until the beta is released in like 2 or 3 weeks, but we don't have time for that. And October's for spooky things, not those.
Spoopy.
Spoopy things.
That's right.
So we kind of wanted to just take a look at some of the news. I know I'm excited about Fallout. It may crash and burn horribly. It's kind of a big gamble for them. And actually, just in case anyone's not familiar, Fallout 76 is a little different than the formula that they've kind of built into for the past, 10 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is going to be a massively online game. The amount of
Yeah.
people in any given server is still up in the air, but they're talking a couple dozen people at any given time.
Right.
And it will not be solo. It will not be a traditionally story-driven game.
Well, there's going to be 0 NPCs, right?
No. There will be 0 human NPCs.
Oh, okay. So there's going to be like robots and stuff or
Yeah.
whatever, but
So your quest givers will probably be robots or maybe like newspapers or something.
yeah,
I don't
like
know.
radio stuff through your Pip-Boy.
Yeah.
I
But
like that choice.
Yeah.
I think
Well-
that's a smart and
It's the
interesting
apocalypse.
choice.
I mean, it's kind of neat.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's good that the only relationships you're gonna have, and the only story driven you're gonna have besides your questing is gonna be interacting with other people. It's forcing that. It's gonna force that communication and social aspect of the game a bit, which I
Yeah.
think it'll need.
And you know what? They actually, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong here, Nightson, but I'm pretty sure they actually emphasized that at the E3 was the emphasis being on the fact that players will not necessarily want to engage in combat because they'll need each other's safety and help in order to survive in certain.
They're making some really interesting choices when it comes to how they're going to do partying and loot. For one, PvP.
Everybody only gets 3 beers.
Everyone only gets 3 beers,
Yeah.
no matter where.
Doesn't
She
matter
got
where
she
you
got
are.
3 beers.
You got 3 beers. Sorry, you said partying, and that's just where my brain went.
So first off, they're making it so that PvP, you kill somebody, you don't get their stuff, which right out the gate feels kind of weird,
Yeah. It feels
Yeah.
but it will definitely disincentivize just random. I'm gonna kill that guy because he has a pretty knife.
True.
Yeah, I mean that's how Dust was or whatever, right? Like
Rust.
where you was it? Oh, Rust.
Yeah.
Rust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where people would just murder you for your pants, like.
Oh no, people in Rust would murder you because you looked left instead of right.
You existed here.
You could have
Yeah.
just said because you.
Yeah. And then furthermore, and this was just announced this last week, kills, like PvE kills, loot is unique to the player.
Mm.
So if we're partying and I go kill a ghoul, if you guys participated, we all get unique loot on that ghoul.
Oh. Okay. So it incentivizes you to like help each other and not like murder someone to take their kill.
Yeah, basically.
Nice.
Now,
That's
the
good.
counter of this is weird, though. And I'm watching Endo disappear. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I had to close my door.
The counter to this is something that is, I'm hoping gets a little more described in the beta. I don't see any incentive for PvP.
It's just
And
something that you could do.
You might
not
think that that's
necessarily a
who
good thing.
cares, why we want to incentivize it, but without any incentive, you remove the danger of it. Why even have PvP?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
you bring out the people who are literally doing it to troll others.
My theory on that is going to be that they're going to two reasons. One, to just be an evil murderer. Like there'll probably be bounties and things like that, where if you kill so many people, you get a bounty, and then other people will like track you and try and kill you. Like you could be like a mercenary squad with your buddies or something like that, just to disrupt people's time. And then the other thing is, I imagine if other people are doing quests in your area or doing something in your area and like taking things, and you don't want competition, you could kill them so that you don't have that competition.
Mhm.
But I can't see any other space for it.
Yeah.
So now here's my theory. And end of line. I think this is my my gamble or bet with everyone. I bet you. I feel so strongly about this that I think that because what's going to essentially happen is you're going to create guilds. You're going to have groups of people that colonize an area, and you can colonize that area, and you grow. You expand financially, economically. You basically terraform this property that is, at one point was no longer livable. So I think where they'll implement PvP is once you become a certain size colony, you are capable of basically becoming the capital of that area that you're in. Now, if you're the capital of that area and you're now collecting resources or whatever, or even resources from everyone around you, let's say a certain tax, if you will, you'll want an upsurp or some sort of capacity for other players to get together and take over that, so they can have that land, that prosperous, so on and so forth.
Is there building and stuff like
Oh
that?
yeah, there is
Okay.
city building.
Yeah.
I don't know
There
how
you go.
thorough it's
I
going to
mean,
be,
that
but
makes sense
it's
then.
going to be at least as thorough as it was in Fallout 4.
So what I was reading or watching on YouTube is they're gonna have the same type of buildings, but the like space that you have will be smaller unless you build on like specific areas. I think they were calling them workshops or something. There's like a name for it. There's like an area. It's like, oh, build a thing here, and then you can have a bigger, better settlement. But then like you will randomly spawn basically world events, and bosses will just show up and attack your place.
Yeah, they did mention that at E3, and I think that requires quite a bit of. I imagine early on you'll get like small stuff, right? So you can always have like that incoming little bit of loot, gear, whatever. But I've also heard mention of like world bosses as well.
Well, and then there's the whole nuke thing where you can drop a nuke and make basically a raid zone.
Yep.
And destroy someone's base at the same time.
So the thing they were talking about there is because of the way the nukes work, if you drop it on someone else as like a troll move, you're basically just giving them free gear. Because like they're gonna respawn pretty close to where they died, and then they're just gonna be right there, like they're just gonna run over, get their shit, and like go, do the raid zone. Whereas if you fought to get all the codes to get the actual nuke to generate a raid zone, what are the odds you're going to want to put it near a rival faction that's going to consume all of the resources that you just generated?
Well, like I said, I think it all boils down to that crumbling a system down back to nothing to where they have to rebuild, and now you become the capital city. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You become that necessary, sustainable, income, and everybody else is sort of paying you in a way or whatever. That's I don't know how to exactly explain it, but I'm sure you guys understand what I'm getting at.
I guess it really comes down to how many people fit in a server, and what the game is really designed to be, quote unquote, party size. Like, is it possible that you and your 30 other friends own this server, And
Oh yeah.
the player 31 and 32 that can get into the server, God help them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sharding.
Time to make friends.
Yeah, or instancing is going to play a lot or a big part into how successful or unsuccessful it is, I think.
I could see that. I guess something else I saw was that crafting is going to be really important. Like the things you can craft are going to be really important for other players, and so trading will be really important. On top of that, satiation is a thing. Like you have to keep yourself fed and full of water, and you have to keep your rads down. And so like being able to buy food from someone who's a high level chef or whatever is going to be really useful. And so if you're not doing that, kind of seems fun though. Like if your whole group wanted to like focus on the town building part of it instead of like the going out and raiding part, you could just stay in town and like make the best food and have the best gear, and then people will come to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a legit, civilization. Yeah.
Yeah, you just make a zone. You just make a quest zone.
Yeah.
And you're like, go get me animal parts. I will give you this gear.
Yeah. Oh geez,
When we look at like Apocalypse games, like bigger outside of just the Fallout game, what do you think helps those kinds of games be successful or even fail? Like, what are the things that make them fun? We're talking theoretically about the new Fallout game, and we're talking about all the things we'd like to see. But what do you guys feel like keeps those things going, or makes it like, okay, we played it for one night, this was shitty, and we're not going to play it again?
I think one of the key things that drives a lot of like the post-apocalyptic games is you get especially like in the Fallout series, but you see it in others, is you get to take a level of technology or even a level of infrastructure and then remove the people, remove society from it. And you get to see like alternate futures, alternate timelines kind of concepts. And play in some interesting places. You look at Division, which really is kind of a post-apocalyptic, kind of in the apocalyptic, kind of that bridge in between the two.
Right.
And it is a lot of fun running around the streets of New York. And, saving the streets of New York from a bunch of crazy people.
Yeah, that game's incredible.
And so I think it's the almost the dichotomy of the things that look the same and the things that look different.
I think the interesting part for me, and the reason why I would personally not want to live in an apocalyptic situation, is that it sort of resets things to the point where you are now as useful as you can be to yourself. Like, do you have a skill? Can you make food? Can you generate goods and services? Like, that suddenly becomes way more important when you don't have a societal structure around you to like prop up people like me who draw pictures for a living, right? Like, that's not a useful skill in an apocalyptic setting. Nobody wants pamphlets when you have to fight for every meal. Like, it's not a thing that people care about. And so the idea that you would sort of remove the societal structures that are in place and put more of the onus on your survival and your well-being on yourself, I think can be really interesting. And sort of if you, especially if you're the kind of person that has those marketable skills, like if you're a survivalist or something like that, or you can grow food, like a post-apocalyptic setting is really interesting because suddenly this skill that is not very useful, because you can just go to the store and get that stuff, is suddenly like the most important skill.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think weighing on that, I think the interesting thing for me is taking what Kurt said. I think the line of being a good person and being a bad person is so blurred in a setting like that, because being a good person is not really a good idea in a lot of situations in that kind of a setting. Like, your worth is based on what you can do for other people to survive. Like, you have to do what you have to do to survive, and what links you'll go to survive, and the underhanded things you'd never normally do in a society, right? but there's no society anymore. Everyone's out for themselves and just trying to make it and stay alive. I think it's an interesting dynamic in a game. And in Fallout specifically, it's always interesting being so barren, and then you go into a town and you're like, oh, this is a civilization. Nope, not really. It's just a bunch of people just like tolerating each other in a place that they can just be a little safer than out on their own.
Mm-hmm. Well, like the original two Fallouts, and the sort of, I did some research for this. So the original two Fallouts, the reason that a lot of people that were really huge fans of 1 and 2 weren't big fans of like 3 and 4 is because those first two were really philosophical mindfuck stuff. Like the question of, if you remove man's oppressors, they will be peaceful, because that is how, like, humans are intrinsically peaceful, and if you remove the fascists, suddenly they will become peaceful. And so Fallout basically just asks that question. It puts people in those situations and says, what would you do, right? And the flip side of that argument is the only way to maintain peace is with an iron fist, right? Like, the only way to maintain a peaceful society is through pain and punishment. And so, like, those two arguments are, sitting there warring, and that's what those two early Fallouts focused on, compared to like later Fallouts, which were more basically just 3D shooters with some in the wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
See, I never really. Now, maybe I played the original two Fallouts way too young, I guess. But for me, it was all about exploration and finding little worlds and interacting with tribes of survivors, and foraging for loot and doing all that, which is I got more of, and then some in all the subsequent games.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So even with the glitz and the glam, it still felt like that universe.
Yeah, and that's true. And it depends on what you got out of the game, right?
The
Like,
truth is, the entire series was tongue-in-cheek from the jump. The entire concept of Fallout is based around Vault Tech building a series of vaults to protect people, but they were actually just social experiment.
Yep.
From here, we have a vault that is designed that every year the owner, the president of this vault, the only way to keep the vault going is to kill themselves. They have to go in and basically push the suicide button.
Mm-hmm.
And every year, someone's voted basically to be the president for that year, and then at the end of the year, kills himself.
Yeah.
And ultimately they find someone's like, no, we're not doing this. And so they have a huge civil war, and one person finally, everyone dies basically except for one person. He gets out, and then they get the big, hooray, you've passed. It was all about not actually sacrificing yourself.
Right.
Not
Like, how long would it take?
Not blindly listening to authority. And it was like 100 years of this had gone by.
Yeah.
Or what happens when we put a group of people that have 10 guns to one person ratio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're like overly. Everyone's got like tons of guns everywhere.
Yeah, and so that's all it was. It was just fucked up social experiments, and so seeing like that didn't change. I felt that sense of dark humor persisted throughout the series.
Yeah.
The irony being, wrapping it back to 76, is Vault 76 was the legitimate vault. That was the test, the placebo,
If we don't do anything, like we just
yeah,
let them
it was
live in
literally designed to we lock the doors for 20 years, or 20 however many years, and you guys can come out. No fucking with at all.
Yeah.
Good for
there.
you.
See what happens.
And so the people from the Vault 76 are the raiders and the wastelanders and the NPCs you interact with in all the other games. They actually build society.
Okay. See, I didn't know that part. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And that's why there are no people. Anyone
Right,
outside-
because this is the first vault to get let out.
Yeah. Everyone else is blowed up. Or
That's
a
really
radiated monster.
Neat.
Yeah. I mean, I think something else that's sort of interesting in the post-apocalyptic setting is the like what End of Line was saying about being a good person is sort of a bad idea, right? Because you need to sort of look out for yourself. But then you do engage that philosophical discussion of, are people intrinsically good when all of the strata, all of the framework is removed, and you just let them make decisions on their own with no reinforcement of what we've decided is morality in a modern society. It's kind of interesting to see what sort of choices people make.
Well, and what does desperation for something cause people to do?
Yeah.
I think most people would say that everyone has that in them. It's just certain people require certain conditions to bring that certain piece of themselves out. But make no mistake, it's in everyone.
It is. There's real quick. I'll just throw to. There's an actual documentary on Netflix if you want to look it up. I'm not gonna know the name of it off the top of my head, but it actually documents a psychologist who survived, or his parents had passed away, and he managed to survive the Holocaust. And his whole thing was he wanted to know why would someone be driven to go through these type of acts, and do these things to other humans. And he created a very pretty revolutionary study, proving that almost 100% of all people, when it comes down to it, will pull that trigger or will do that type of behavior. So much so that several of his study subjects years later came back and sued him because they claimed they were suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder from the things that they did in the study. Or I should say, and now let me make this very clear before you watch this or even look up this documentary. Let me make it very clear that the things that the people who are doing the study were doing, they were perceived to be doing these things to someone else. The person behind the other side of the wall wasn't actually being hurt. Or
Are you
was
talking
hurt
about the electrocution one where
yep,
the test subject is actually the person pressing the button to electrocute the actor, and there's an actor in a lab coat saying, no, go on, they signed up for this, you're fine, just press the button, and then the actor is begging not to be electrocuted.
Absolutely, yep, based on a true story, that fascinating stuff. Man.
We actually talked about that in my college philosophy class. that was we were talking about that way back then. It's an interesting experiment, and that guy lost
it was a completely unethical.
Yeah, it was totally unethical. But that's an interesting question. We learned a lot about people from it, but it was an unethical experiment.
I mean, that's the thing is, when you strip away everything else, right? What's ethical? What's unethical, right? So what this guy did was he brought something to the table that he was driven by something, right? He was driven by surviving and having his parents having been lost in the Holocaust. And that was his motive. His only motive was to find out why and will people do it. And he got what he wanted, right? And he obviously lost his license. And at the end of the day, I have to ask, who's to say, was it unethical? I mean, I guess doctors found it unethical, but we certainly found out something very interesting.
The last time I had a conversation similar to this, someone showed me about a movie. I think it was a movie or it was a short film or something. It was like a box that gets delivered to a family, and apparently it has a button. And if you press the button, one person dies in the world, but you don't know who it is. It's just a random person among millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. Who would, like who you know, like of us, and obviously I don't want to know, but I'm just saying, like, you just have to think, if it showed up at your friend's doorstep, would they push the button?
Yeah. Well, and the Milgram experiment really showed us a lot about human nature, and that people can be convinced to do things that even seem like it would be against their nature or against the morality that they have in their everyday life, and really showed that almost anyone can do acts outside of their perceived morality, depending on their motives for doing those things, depending on what the motivation is. There has been other studies that kind of went farther into motivation and what people would do if they were pushed past their moral limits. And it is, I mean, when you play video games or watch movies or whatever, where it's an apocalyptic setting, and there's always those people that attack other people and steal all their stuff or whatever, and you're like, man, why is the human race so awful? And it's not. It's that we really go back to our like animalistic instincts of I need to survive, and my survival is now more important than all the other humans. Unless it's a human that I care about, in which case their survival is more important than your survival.
And then you just have some really horrible people, like when you start playing Division with your friends for the first time, and you have some person in your party that just decides that every time they see a dog starving on the side of the street, they would shoot them.
I don't know who.
But did that person
it was
do
starving.
that to put
Do you
the
have
dog
food
out
for
of
it?
misery, or
he would kill every
it
dog?
already a
I
death?
was literally like, dude, do we need to talk? Like, is there a problem? Like, I know some therapists. We could.
You want to talk? Dude? You want to talk about morality? Like, I would have thought I felt like this should have at least been brought up in the notes, so I could have prepared for what you were just about to throw me under the bus for.
I feel like you didn't say it was you, but thanks for outing yourself on shooting all those dogs.
Yeah,
I was literally sitting
we're
here,
killing
I
the
wasn't
murderers.
sure
All of a
you were
sudden,
rando.
we hear, "Arr!" We're like, dude, kill the bad guys. What are you doing killing the dogs?
I thought Endo said Handor.
Nope.
you totally
just
outed
outed
yourself
yourself.
on that.
He was having that talk, and I was like, wait, was that me? I don't think it was me.
No,
Was
it was totally Andor. It was a running meme for like as we kept playing it. He would always just like, oh, hold on, guys, I gotta get something. It's like, what? Arr! Like, oh man,
You're a horrible person.
messed up,
No.
dude.
No, dude. If you think about it, huh?
What?
I just feel like maybe it was in their best interest that in this situation that they were in, instead of eating humans who were contaminated, that maybe they needed to be.
So if you
Well,
press
and
that button,
that's
Handor, you're gonna electric. Can I finish?
Well, that's the logic behind, anybody would be able to do almost anything, right? Like you being able to logic for yourself why it's okay to kill the dog. People can make things okay in their head. They can logic the shit out of anything. And once they wrap their head and go, oh no, this is why it was okay I did that, they're cool with it. They're fine. Because they've come to terms with it and they can move on. And so, for Handor, it's, I can totally kill the dogs because they're attacking people and they're starving and look, they're so sad. I'm just going to shoot them.
They don't attack anyone. They're
I
friendly,
just want to
nice
point.
doggies.
In fact, there are piles of food.
I just want to point out that I love
people.
RL. I love dogs and I love cats.
You don't want PETA coming after you?
Yeah, and
I don't
I
want
just want to
anybody
say to Noxious in the chat, I am your father. That's what it is.
He's not.
Oh,
He's not actually your dad.
you're adopted.
Or
You're adopted and I'm your father.
Also, it's with a K.
Yeah, that's
not a
fine.
C.
That's okay.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because I've listened to him bitch about that forever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not my fault when people spell it wrong. So one of the things we have in our question here is, what is something that makes a post-apocalyptic game, like video game specifically, fail? So I'm curious to what your guys' thoughts are on that, because I mean we've seen a lot of post-apocalyptic video games kind of come and go. We've seen a lot of Fallouts come and go. Some were like touted as the best Fallout game. I don't know that I've seen any like fall flat.
So, is this a beyond the obvious of, like the early DayZ, which it didn't even hardly fail then. Still, people, played it, but it was a fail for me. Was going to climb a ladder and all of a sudden you've broken your leg.
Well, I think we can scratch out the obvious bugginess or.
Right.
Yeah. I mean that because those are problems that plague any game. Like if it's too buggy or like there was a weird release problem, that'll kill any game. But
the perpetual alpha.
Yeah. Which
I will say the entire like post-apocalyptic / survival genre is the perpetual alpha.
Yeah, which I would like to point out, if you we talked about this, if you'd like to hear that, go back to a previous episode. We've actually talked about the alpha beta, episode 8.
Right.
I know that because it's the only episode I'm not on.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the core aspects of an apocalyptic game is resources, be it food, water, bullets, equipment. And I think one of the key things that can hinder that experience is if the acquisition is not at an appropriate level. And I know that sounds weird for a feast or famine style of game, but you look at like H1Z1, which was Sony's take on the DayZ formula.
Yep.
And it was a much cleaner game, less buggy, much easier to get into. You didn't have to literally buy another game and then put a mod pack on it to play.
Right.
Yeah.
And was actually a lot of fun. The biggest issue was at launch, there was no loot. They had severe problems with resource spawning, or it just wasn't up to snuff, whatever they thought was a good idea. And maybe they were shooting for that super famine level. But, if on the third or fourth little town you walk through and you can't find a single piece of string or even food to continue playing the game.
Right.
Well, it's like that thirst and satiation thing, right? Like when it gets to a point where you're like, I literally cannot keep playing this game or my character's just going to keep dying.
I can't
find water. I can't even.
We spent half of our time purifying water and just harvesting berries.
I remember that. We found that one little area that had like 10 berry bushes. Yeah. And I swear we would get from one end to the other looting berries.
Yep.
Eat 80% of the berries to make up for the food we lost on the collecting the berries.
Play and for then like almost 15-20 minutes and be like, okay, we need more berries.
Yeah, and I mean, it should definitely feel like an apocalyptic game, but it also shouldn't be unfun.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing,
it's not the actual apocalypse.
Well, here's the thing: in a lot of cases, like if you looked at a situation like, let's say, a plague or some sort of outbreak or fire from the sky that left 1 in 10 people alive, or even less, 1 in 100 people alive, which is usually closer, or if not even less. And like food, water, general resources would be effectively infinite.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, just another busy drone.
And I'm so
Thanks,
sorry
drone.
you're sick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you're not feeling well.
If you're interested in the show, though, we do make a point to leave it up here on Twitch and then post it on YouTube later. So feel free to check it, or the podcast.
Drone is a huge Fallout fan. I was actually on his stream watching him play Fallout like yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Talking about what we're gonna do for Fallout.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
So to get back to what I was saying, though, if all of a sudden you were the only person still alive in your apartment complex, you could probably survive for months.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Non-perishables.
Yeah.
For sure.
just in that apartment complex.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
the big issue is going to be what is the cause of the apocalypse, right? Like if it's everyone fled and now you're going back in to see what is left, like how long has it been, right? Because perishables are going to be gone within a week, 2 weeks, a month. Like, that stuff's going to be garbage.
Yeah.
But if it's like a zombie outbreak, right? The reason you're leaving is because there's too many people here, and all those people that are no longer consuming resources are trying to kill you.
Mhm.
So, like, getting to those resources that are left behind.
The danger of getting to the resources is one thing. But
apartment building is the worst place to be.
But the resources themselves, unless it is a slow, drawn-out apocalypse.
Right.
You know, like one of those, there is no more water in the world for some reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And now everyone's slowly dying off.
What was the Stephen King's apocalypse movie where everyone
The Stand.
The Stand. That was a crazy movie.
Wasn't that like a demon comes to town or something like that?
Randall
I can't
Flagg.
remember what the plot was of The Stand.
Yeah, there's an outbreak at a military base where they're doing chemical testing, and a super virus gets out.
Mm-hmm.
And it spreads, and for some reason there's a subset of people who are immune to the illness, and it kind of cuts down the middle of good people and bad people. And Randall Flagg and the bad people kind of migrate over to Las Vegas, and all the good people migrate over to Boulder, Colorado. And so there's this clash of good and evil. Very good book. You should read it if you haven't.
But
I think I watched the mini series.
You should read the book. And it's a very good.
It's definitely. There's a lot of Stephen.
They're
King
remaking
stuff
the movie, by the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of Stephen King stuff that I've only experienced through like the
That's
mini
okay.
series that were made on TV in the past.
The movies. I'm not shitting on the movie. The movie's alright.
He's a very long-winded, descriptive writer, though, so I can understand why some people could they're like, I want to experience Stephen King, but I can't experience Stephen King.
Which is why I have not read The Dark Tower, but the movie is ass, so I need to try again.
If you want to experience Stephen King without experiencing that Stephen King that you're talking about, then go to Dean Koontz, because he gets to the beat of it.
Oh, I love Dean Koontz. Oh my god, we gotta have a whole book episode so we can talk about authors.
Yeah, Dean Koontz is definitely the Stephen King of I'm getting straight to it.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Twilight Eyes, best Dean Koontz book. Anyway. But yeah, so I feel like we've done a pretty good job of talking about apocalyptic video games. Man, I can't finish sentences today. That's cool. And does anybody have any kind of final thoughts here as we kind of look to wrap up our show for the night?
So, I mean, the takeaways that I got were, what are the moral implications of removing society? Those are some questions that are interesting to ask. How are the resources and how are the mechanics enforcing the disparity of there's no resources and you need to survive? Like, how do the mechanics enforce that in a way that is still fun?
Yeah,
because
balance the survival and the threat. There's the threats and there's survival.
Balance.
There should be balanced.
Right, and then what does the new society look like? Right, like what is this game's interpretation of the new society? Or in the case of something like 76 or Vault 76, what are the players going to make society? Right, because if Fallout 76 is we are the first people to come out of the vaults and we're building little towns and interacting with each other, basically we are the society that we're building. And I don't know how many 420 XXX guys are you going to run into before you're like, all right, I'm not getting my philosophical discussion today.
Yeah.
So those are some interesting things.
I do like the idea of an apocalypse or post-apocalyptic world game where it's not just about gathering berries and finding clean water, but building society or whatever it's going to look like after. What does it look like next?
Rebuilding?
Other than just I'm gonna build a little shack and try to survive in my shack. But what is it gonna look like when we continue to work to build past the shack stage?
I like the idea of getting my friends together, 5 or 6 of us, finding some torn down little suburb cul-de-sac, us building a few homes next to each other, making it a home base, and just trying to build it and protect it and go out and forage and try and increase our little town and go get loot to get more armory. Yeah. Barter with other people. Hey, you guys got a lot of metal over there in your side of town with the factories and shit, but hey, we've got a lot of agriculture over here, so let me give you some berries. And you can give me some metal.
I picked all the fucking berries.
And I don't know where I got it, but I have all this dog meat. So, if you guys want to make dog meat.
Oh my god.
You know, I think that is a great place to close the show tonight on I've got a lot of dog meat.
Got a lot of dog meat.
Hey, Kurt, you want to tell the people where they can find us one more time?
Sure. Well, it looks like Handor finally wrote us an outro, which is I got a lot of dog meat. And thank you everyone for joining us for this for episode 20 of the Pixel Scandal Nerdcast.
Yeah.
If you'd like to contact us, it's crazy. 20 episodes. We did it. We did it, fam.
That's awesome.
So if you'd like to contact us, you can do so by sending an email to pixelscandal@gmail.com. If you'd like to follow us on social media, we have Twitter @PixelScandal, Instagram @PixelScandal. You can look us up on Facebook. I think we have a Facebook fan page. And if you'd like to follow us, watch live, you can do so on Twitch, twitch.tv/PixelScandal, where you can follow us to get notifications when we go live. Or if you'd really want to, you can subscribe or share with your friends, because we'd love new viewers and new followers. We interact with the chat. We like you guys. And if you'd like to watch our later videos or old videos, you can watch those on YouTube. Just search Pixel Scandal, because we don't have a fancy URL until we get 1,000 subscribers. So go subscribe. Tell your friends. And if you'd like to listen to this show as a podcast, as an audio file in your phone, in your car, on your way to work, you can do that by searching Pixel Scandal Nerdcast on your favorite podcatcher. It's a thing. Podcatcher is a word.
And if you don't go to work and you don't have a job, you don't have an excuse, you lazy bum, listen to the podcast.
Yeah. And I was going to say, you can also, we're going to be playing a ton of Dead by Daylight in the coming days and month of October, as things get more and more spoopy throughout October, and the pumpkin spice gets to the point where you just want to kill your friends. We're going to be playing Dead by Daylight, and we'll be playing Murderers.
This is a pumpkin spice free house.
Yeah, there are no pumpkin spices here.
There are no pumpkin spices.
The pumpkin spice
I'm not going to let Handor hurt you.
Now, on that note, if anyone has any recommendations for spoopy games for us to be checking out,
we will totally take recommendations for spoopy games that we will totally play on the stream.
Yes, post your spoopy games in the chat, or email us, or add us on Twitter.
You know, maybe we'll trick Kurt into playing Amnesia in a dark room, and we can film him.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, fuck that. That is not happening. Oh, my God.
Please don't forget, last announcement before we go, please don't forget to send all of your hate mail to endofline@yahoo.com.
I don't think that's
that
an email
is not
address,
a real thing, but sure, email it. It'll be funny.
Yeah. You know what? If you have hate mail, you just send that shit to pixelscandal@gmail.com. We'd love to read your email.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in on whatever you tuned in on, and we'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye. I love you.